Acts chapter 3, verse 2, it simply says this, and I'll paraphrase it, and I want you to get the gist of it. It says that being carried, but it really is often he was taken to the gate, definite article, the gate, called Beautiful. Let me begin the conversation about the beautiful gate. You may be seated. Let me begin first by saying that a great deal of churches and leaders, we have to apologize for making the church attractive. We've spent a great deal of our energy trying to figure out how to make the church attractive. As my friend Dr. Damone Johnson would say, that leaders have become more concerned about buildings, budgets, and bodies. Been more concerned about how beautiful the building is, how much money we raise in a year, and how many bodies we can get in a building. And we've got on this vicious treadmill because the buildings were getting built bigger, the budgets needed to increase so that we can accommodate this kind of attractiveness that we've been having to try to get bodies in seats. We've gotten more concerned about how to get people in the church instead of getting people to go do the mission of the church. We've been guilty. Please notice, we've been guilty. It's been a sad tragedy that we are trying to count numbers more than making numbers count. We've gotten to the place where we now define ourselves by the celebrity of our pastor and not of the relevance of what he or she can do. We've now made the church a marketing scheme instead of making the church a place where we are intently concerned about transformation and conversion. We've lost the zeal. We've lost the mission and the purpose. Matter of fact, there are probably many of us, and hopefully not us here, but us in a plural sense, that could not even define what the mission of the church is any longer. Because over the years, we think the church is where we borrow money and where we get our notes paid and where we get to status of popularity, where we walk around for at least a couple of hours and deem ourselves significant. Where else in the world do we have this much prestige? We have now places where only we can sit and we belong. We have name tags and all kinds of things to promote ourselves. We have become like celebrity athletes who are concerned about the name on the back of the jersey and not the name on the front of the jersey. You do know the distinction. The name on the back of the jersey is where I put my name. On the front of the jersey is who I play for. We no longer know that we are serving Christ as much as we're naming ministries after ourselves. Naming ministries about who we think we are. Matter of fact, we think all of us supposed to have a ministry named after ourselves. We've gotten to a place where we look for now TV status and not what we need to be doing for the kingdom. It's a sad tragedy that we've gotten to this place. But thank God that God always knows how to get us back in alignment. He knows how to bring the church back into a shift. Now, I'm not one to suggest that God sent the recession, but I would suggest that God allowed the recession in order that all of us would know what struggle felt like again and what it meant to really trust in the Lord with all of our heart and our mind and our soul. I'm so glad that he got us just in time. to make us understand that the beautiful gate that we're creating, and the key is the beautiful gate. In Acts chapter 3, verse 2, that's what it is, the beautiful gate, which is the definite article. And anytime you see the definite article, it has some suggestion that it is the only, the best, and the unique. The beautiful gate. That God was not interested in creating beautiful gates. He was interested in creating a church that had a missional statement, a relational understanding, and an incarnational Christ. He was concerned about a church that understood that our mission was to go and make disciples. Matter of fact, it's not even go as in terms of get to your destiny, but it really is a participle, which means while going, make disciples. So on your way to where you're going, create an image that people want to follow. Don't wait to get where you're going, but while you're going, make disciples. On your way to the store, make disciples. On your way to school, make disciples. On your way to church, make disciples, because God understands that the mission is not so much how many we get in here, but how many we transform out there. The truth of the matter is that if they never come in here, long as they go somewhere after they come under some truth, then we've done our job. That's what our call is. We have to get back to it. We have to get back to that place where we are bragging about how many people now know Christ because of me. How many people now want to be closer to God because of me. That would change how I act, what I say, where I do some things at. Everything private ain't for everything public. Because I can don't mean I should. Because I can cuss you out don't mean I should cuss you out. Not because you don't deserve it. Not because I might not deserve it. But the truth of the matter is, while I'm going, I'm trying to make some disciples. I've got to get to the place where I see everybody as significant and indispensable. That when I've gotten to this place and you have gotten to a place, and I pray that I'm not talking to all of you, but when we've gotten to the place where we became more conscious of our image, and then we make decisions who and who not, who should and who shouldn't, who should get it and who shouldn't get it, who I should talk to and who I shouldn't talk to. We became more like an inclusive club where only a certain people are welcome. We didn't mean to do it, but we gotten there. The church didn't mean to become that, but it did. But there are three words that I hope that you hold on to in this little brief discussion today, that we ought to be missional. And missional does not mean that I'm going somewhere, that I'm moving to Africa, or I have to go to some remote place. Just go outside. Go down the street. While you're going, you'll find that there's a whole lot of people who need what we say we got. Matter of fact, if we aren't careful, we can just look down the road and find out that somebody needs our missional understanding.